State of Cybersecurity series with Covenant Security Solutions and your host, Daniela Fleming-Magana. I'm the president and founder of Covenant Security Solutions. And I wanted to focus this week on something that I've been hearing from friends, from family, from people texting me, emailing me, and that's dealing with unemployment fraud rings that are going on, and actually unemployment fraud claims. And what is actually happening to individuals is that someone is taking their social security numbers and other personally identifying information that they're able to obtain and fraudulently filing unemployment claims in their name. So when the person actually goes to try and file unemployment, at that point, they're finding out that they've already got a claim that's active and being paid out, or in some cases, they're finding out through their employer that, hey, you know what, someone tried to actually file an unemployment claim on your behalf. Or a third option that's been happening to people is that they've also been getting notified from the unemployment offices themselves. But we're talking about an epidemic right now. And so I wanted to focus this week on something that was real life and also practical tips that people can have to protect themselves. So we're going to start talking about what's going on in California, and understand it's not just California. This is happening across almost every single state in this union. But in particular for California, they're being hit very hard because of the size of the state. So one clip that I'm going to share with you guys is dealing in particular where they actually had and found out that there were inmates on death row who were able to take people's social security numbers and fraudulent information and have payments diverted to them. And in this particular case, they had almost $500,000 worth of payments given to people on death row that claimed that they were real legitimate California citizens in need. And this went as far as them also taking money from a 99-year-old housekeeper. So in case you're wondering, do these people have a heart? Obviously not. And I think it's important for people to be aware of what's going on and also what you can do to protect yourself. I'm going to play a clip right now, and this is going to be a clip out of the larger segment that I'm going to put in the description section for you. But within that segment, we're going to talk about an artist who actually went through the whole process, found out that he was fraudulently part of this $500,000 scheme with these death row criminals. And when he went to actually try and validate his information, the EDD came back, unemployment office, and said that he didn't have enough information to validate his identity. So this is really, we're in a bad space. So I'm going to let you listen to this clip, and then I'll join you on the other side.
Out-of-work artist Trace Devine knows that problem all too well. His EDD account was frozen back in September after it was flagged for suspected fraud, pending identity verification.
Sent in all my info for verifying my identity, passport, social security, everything I had, license. I sent it in, waited about a month to get the reply, and they said it was insufficient verification of my identity.
To add insult to injury, Devine was sent a 1099 tax form from EDD for over $8,000, and that includes the $3,000 stuck in his frozen account.
Obviously, nobody wants to pay on money they didn't receive.
Okay, well, welcome back from watching that clip. Hopefully it shocked you as it shocked me and shocked anybody else that has probably been going through something like this, where we are in such a state right now where information has been stolen multiple times. Some of our information has been on the dark web and other nefarious places for coming up on a decade. When you think back to, we've had breaches going all the way back to Office of Personnel Management, Target, Equifax, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem, you name the company, and probably most of our information has been leaked in one way or another. And because of that, they're able to pull off these scams and schemes and get to your information. So the next clip I'm going to play for you actually talks about, for California, what is also happening as a result of this is that individuals' bank accounts are being frozen. So if you have payments that are coming in from EDD, all of a sudden, if they believe that might have been part of these rings that are going on, they're actually freezing your payment. So you'll take a clip and take a look at this as well. I'll meet you on the other side of that.
The size and scale of the California program attracted substantial fraud, including criminals who are fraudulently attempting to claim benefits. It is our assessment that there is sophisticated criminal network activity involved in this, as has been assessed by other third-party specialists as well.
Okay, as you can see, the pain is just multiplied. So it's not just about someone taking the information and taking your hard-earned dollars and siphoning them for themselves. They're also putting you in a situation where your bank account and your ability to get to money, to transact business, to live and eat and conduct life could be at risk as well. So one of the things that I wanted to do was not just focus on the problem, because as I mentioned, it's pervasive. It's not just happening in California. This has happened in New York. This has happened in Illinois, Michigan. Very recently, they had a case that happened in Washington State, and that was due to an automatic funds transfer service provider that they had that actually leaked this information as well. So the question is, what can you do? Because it's out there on all of us, whether you're, you think, oh, nobody cares about me, all the way to if you're a well-known celebrity, anyone can get a hold of your information and reuse that information for their own personal financial gain. So what I'm going to do is just provide some information. It's also going to be in the description box below of tips and things that you can do to protect yourself. And so the first thing I'm going to suggest, and actually we're going to follow along loosely against the guidelines that are provided by the Federal Trade Commission in the event that you are a victim of unemployment fraud. And the first thing I'm going to suggest is actually going out and getting a credit freeze or lock. And the reason I'm suggesting that is because what you want to do is be able to stop an individual from being able to do any further damage, or to be able to take the information they have and continue to abuse it and misuse it and potentially cause you even more harm. So if you go, I'm going to have in the box down there the difference between a credit freeze and a lock, as well as a link to one of the major credit bureaus here where they go into more depth about the differences between the two. But the first thing you want to do is actually take the time and lock down your information. They also have a website that I'm going to have below, which is FTC. Hold on one second. Let me get that information. IdentityTheft.gov. It's IdentityTheft.gov, and you want to go there because you've had a crime committed against you. Let's just be upfront and honest. So you need to have the information that's provided there on how to get affidavits. Those are very critical because you want to be able to attest to the fact that you are the person attached to that Social Security number and not the thief or the criminal operative that may be utilizing it for their own financial gain. And you also want to be able to have something that proves that you are who you say you are in the event that they continue to use that information to take on and do other crime. The second piece that they recommend, and I'm kind of taking this out of order, just having lived through identity theft myself and understanding how important that first step is. You really have to lock down your credit and lock down and get the affidavits and information that you need. The third piece of that, which I forgot to mention, is that you might want to also look at getting a police report. I know certain jurisdictions are kind of shying people away from it, but I would definitely reach out to your local police department if you've been a victim and figure out if they're willing to go forward and do a police report, or if you just have to do the affidavit part. I know with the pandemic, a lot of police departments are overwhelmed and don't necessarily have the same staffing as they had prior, but it's important. It's very important to get something that can now tie you back to your Social Security number as the real owner and the real person behind that information. I can't stress that enough as being the first step, as well as being able to lock down or freeze your credit report so someone can't get back into that information and continue to do you personal harm. So the second piece that they recommend, and actually I'm taking it out of order again, would be for you to report this to unemployment agencies to let them know that the fraudulent claim is happening. If they haven't already contacted you, sometimes they're the ones that actually find it. But if for whatever reason you're contacted independently, or something comes to your house that's a little off, make sure that you let the unemployment agency know. Because part of this is also going to be making sure that you report this, and gets back to the first part of having the affidavits, is that what's happening to people is that they're also getting tax bills. as a result of money that they never ever received. And so it's important that you have all of this documented properly so that you can go back and let not only the unemployment agency, but also the IRS know that you've been a victim of fraud and that you've got the paperwork in hand to show that you've been victimized, so that you do not have to pay taxes for money that you didn't receive. And then the last piece, as I say, to report to your employer. Many times they're going to be the person that may identify this to you. It just depends on the relationship, and it depends on whether or not you were self-employed. So if you were self-employed, then you definitely have to just be really keen to stay on top of the information that comes in and out of your home, any emails, anything that just is like a little off. It may not necessarily need to be way off. It might just be a little off. And I would definitely encourage you to just take that information and follow through to find out, okay, well, why is this off? It doesn't hurt to make a phone call or shoot an email. If it's a legitimate organization that you're dealing with, they should be able to say, yeah, okay, yeah, we made a mistake, or this, we're sorry we sent this to you, or hey, yeah, you did file for this, and you can say, no, I didn't file for that, and what are the steps for me to be able to identify to you that someone else is using my information. So those are the tips that they provide. I don't want to make this super long, so I am going to put all of the information in the comment section below. I want you to take the time to go through and understand that you do not have to continue to be victimized. This is going on rampant, as I mentioned earlier, across the 50 United States. But there are tools and there are things that you can do to help lower the risk. Nothing's going to prevent it 100% because we are all interconnected. And unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, these crimes have been going on for well over a decade. So unfortunately, it's going to happen to all of us. It's happened to me. It's happened to any other person that's been out there. But there are some things that you can do to help lessen the pain if it happens, and also to try and protect yourself and hopefully prevent somebody from taking your life or making it very, very difficult. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. If you like our videos, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. And we will definitely be keeping up with these so that we can share and keep you guys informed of things that impact your life from a cybersecurity perspective. Again, like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.